Mame fa say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
The owners are the people of Ghana. The shepherds are those elected and appointed to serve and lead. And who they are selling us to is foreigners who are buying everything of ours for cheap. But now they have turned away from even selling to the foreigners so that some profit will come to the country, whatever little there is in it. They're selling the nation to themselves. And I speak not of other nations. I speak not of Kenya. I speak not of Nigeria, where the president has seen that the uprising in Kenya is coming close to his place. So now he says he's going to abolish the office of the first lady. And he's going to reduce the size of government. And I look at this nation of ours, and I look at China, where I'm studying and researching at the moment. And China has 20 ministers, and this nation of ours has close to 126 ministers, plus deputy ministers, plus special assistants and special advisors. And I ask myself, do we have a leader? Do we have leaders?
Do we?
No, we don't.
We don't?
Each one for himself, God for us all.
We have a president, we have a president, we have a vice president, we have ministers in cabinet, we have ministers of state, members of parliament.
For 60 cedis in Tema. I heard Bernard Avle this morning. He says he bought his for 70 cedis.
You bought a tuber of yam for 60 cedis?
Well, unless you're telling me my personal chef is a liar.
The last projection we made, I mean, one was going for about 30 cedis.
Yes, so 60 cedis.
60 cedis?
Yes. And I feel very bad because when I go abroad and work abroad, I get paid in foreign currency. Well, that is not to say when I come, I want the foreign currency to be so high in value that the cedi is nearly worthless. I've come home and I've seen the foreign currency, dollars go from 14 something to 15 something and now close to 16. And I'm thinking, okay, some of us are fortunate enough to go and work elsewhere and come back home. What about the majority of people who may even work
How many Ghanaians are able
harder
to do
than
that?
us? Who may even be smarter than the people who have elected and appointed. How do they survive? So where is the leadership? Where is the leadership? And especially in a nation where some people have sat down to craft a document, which I initially said, oh, this is just stupidity on steroids. It is just the imaginings of the iniquitous, inebriated people who are just talking hogwash.
You're talking about the Agyapadie document?
Agyapadie document. And then I have looked closely over 3.5 years, and I have seen everything they have stated in that document happening. And if you will permit me, I want to read just the introduction of that document, because like I said in the beginning, I said this is hogwash, the imaginings of a fool. But right now I see it is the plan of the plunderers. It says, to our future, made up of the present and the unborn, for whom this will of a nation is prepared. To our foremost king, Oforipenyin, the progenies spread across this world, for whom and to whom alone this sacred document is prepared. As the heirs of Nana Pianin Kwaframa, Nana Kuntun Kununku, and Oforipenyin, our people were never defeated in the wars of old. Such bloody idiots. We were nobody's subjects, and yet after 1957, we were made to live in the shadows of the descendants of people who never defeated us in war, while the Asante kingdom was uplifted to put us in the shade. In relatively recent times, the struggles and works of J.B. Dankwa to restore Ochimai to its original glory were thwarted, but he fought bravely to the end. And they continue. With the arrival of Nana Addo Dankwa Akuffo Addo, I added the full name because
it says only Nana there, but
yes,
you're adding.
Yeah, exactly. I've added that. That's why I'm stating it. We see the rebirth of a second J.B. Dankwa who has come to the rescue. Fully cognizant that we are currently part of the modern nation of Ghana, the name of which was originally proposed by the illustrious son of Oforipenyin, Lai. J.B. Dankwa wanted Ghana to be called Akan land. He is not the one who proposed the name Ghana. Let's get the facts right. You can glorify your father, but if your father was a drunk, you cannot say he's the archbishop. No. Glorify your father for the good things he has done. He's helped a few school children. He has married more women than, necessary, because maybe the women were cheap in that area, or things were so hard for everybody.
I think we can say that without denigrating.
But it's annoying.
Has his own, he's contributed his bit.
It's annoying. But then you don't try and give the man credit for what he didn't do.
But don't take away from him either.
No. You should take away what is not his due. My father is not the creator of culture and tourism in Ghana. My father just had a small hotel and a club and promoted culture and tourism. I cannot come and say, oh, he created culture and tourism in Ghana. No. None, and they go on. And aware that it is currently made up of other diverse peoples, we have to assert our old selves and ensure that we no longer continue to live in the shadows of other kings and people whose forebears we defeated in wars. In spite of our tremendous contribution to this Ghana entity, Ochimai has not been credited with the appropriate awe and grandeur that we rightly deserve in recent times. Such stupidity. And the contents of this document is a plan, a strategy for the plunder of Ghana. Name all the presidents of Ghana whose family was so stupid, acted like imbeciles, that they could sit and plan that, let us rob the nation. Now, when we go straight into this document later, I will show you what is happening in Ghana. And the fact that they can even name men of God. Otabil is named in there. That if he doesn't follow their plan, they will expose him and the women that he has been with, and they will deprive him of his following in church. It's all in the document. What stupidity. And we are sitting there as a nation. We have prosecutors, magistrates, judges, a police system, and you're seeing that the contents of this thing is happening. And you're sitting there, twiddling your thumbs, scratching your balls, tickling your armpits, and laughing.
It's morning television. Let's season what we're saying.
The plunder of state is real.
Yeah.
And we cannot pretend we do not see it.
And we are...
The plunder of state is real.
We are by no means saying that whatever name dropping, whatever names have been mentioned and churches and all of that, we are not...
They are in the document.
We are not the author of this document. It's merely from that document.
From the document.
Reading. So it's not something that we personally are saying.
And not a single name in that document has stepped up to say, no, I am not part of this folly, not part of this greed, not part of this stupidity, not part of this treachery. This is sabotage.
Let me read another portion.
This is sabotage of state.
Let me add this portion. It says, although the Asante group within the current MPP is gearing itself to take over the party after the next tenure in 2024, it would be ideal if we could work to bypass them in 2024. With hard work, we could work to pass the mantle over to a non-Akan person, preferably from the north, under whose presidency we could secure the maturity of our takeover project. This thing has been around.
No matter what hard work Bawumia and his team may have done, this document positions him as a stooge.
Because this is circa 2020.
You read it back then. I read it back then. But like I said, I just thought these were musings of a fool, musings of a madman. But now, over 3.5 years, looking at what is going on in this country, I see the state plunder is real. Look, I saw Nana Komia on TV the other day. When I used to be advertising manager at ABC, Nana Komia used to work for Kofi Bakna. Kofi Bakna had a small advertising agency called Focal Point. So Nana Komia used to come to my office. My boss was BB Mahama, and whenever it was to do with advertising, they came to me. And that is where we struck a friendship. So we have a mild brotherhood, if I may call it so. And I listened to him being interviewed by Johnny Hughes. Now, you know that in our constitution, the works of state departments, state ministries, departments, and agencies must inure to the benefit of other state ministries, departments, and agencies. That is not to say we mustn't help the private sector. But where we have a state facility that does the same work commendably, you don't snatch the work from the state and give it to a private person. So Johnny Hughes asked Nana Komia a very nice question. And I like Nana Komia as a person. But that doesn't mean if you do wrong, I can say it. You're working for a state enterprise that you make no profit in. So Johnny Hughes says, who are the insurers of your vehicles? And you can see him crestfallen. Admit enterprise insurance. Enterprise insurance is also stated in the document.
And we all know what their ties are.
They are essentially replacing SIC. So where we have put a State Department or ministry or agency or facility in place where the benefit will accrue directly to the state, you take it away and give it to a private enterprise who may pay his corporation tax and pay his other taxes, but the key benefits accrue to the owners of that business. And you are working for the state, appointed by the president. Is the chief of staff working? Samia Uku also takes a GBC contract away from them and gives it to a private station. In fact, when I said it on GTV, then the GTV people were even afraid because the Director General feels maybe if you complain, he might lose his job.
Which contract for clarity are you speaking of?
The lottery draw.
Oh, I see.
See, the simple thing about our enterprise with this media and culture is when a client gives you a job, they give you a brief. And if they have any specifics, they put it in the brief. And based on that brief, we bring proposals, you agree, and we go ahead. Now you have deprived the state enterprise of income and you've given it to a private business. I don't want to name the private business.
No, please don't. I will not even want
my
you to
point
go there.
is, why do we call some of our brothers and sisters, commoners like us, elevate them into positions of authority, and then all of a sudden they feel they are clothed in so much authority that they can thumb their noses at the whole nation and do whatever they want and get away with it because either the president is unconcerned or the people close to him are unconcerned, or it is all part of the plunderous scheme.
Speaking of a plunderous scheme, I would like to read the next two paragraphs very quickly. It says, when we have finally captured the command and control sectors of the country for our private use, we would then be in a better position to wield the necessary political and economic muscle to manage the destiny of this country under the reign of the House of Ofori-Penning.
And it continues.
I will repeat that and continue in the next paragraph. Don't worry.
Go on then.
When we have finally captured the command and control sectors of the country for our private use, we would then be in a better position to wield the necessary political and economic muscle to manage the destiny of this country under the reign of the House of Ofori-Penning.
Such nonsense.
To be specific, we need to strengthen our efforts to control the mineral resources as well as the electricity and water institutions. The success of this project depends on the way in which we, for the time being, control the judiciary and the press.
Well, you've stated it clearly. You know, I know that the journalists do not want to be participants in the argument. A lot of them want to be sitting on the fence and acting as though they were referees. But our journalism needs to be ethical, and I'm happy that you have chosen to be an ethical journalist, especially over the last 2 years. We must be able to see what is right and say, I love you, but this is right, and I will support you. And what is wrong and say, I love you, and this is wrong, so I will not support you. 2 days ago, a leading member of the NPP spoke to me. He says, Kwesi, why are you asking me questions about this 34.9 million deal that has been given to the president's daughter? And I said, I'm asking you.
But hold it there.
Yep.
Hold it there.
Yep. Go on then.
The bit about given to the president's daughter.
Yep.
We do know that she has some linkages to someone who has got the contract.
See,
just for clarity.
I stopped beating about the bush.
Just for clarity.
Me asantini don't know me money in chain. Me bo don't know na pampum. Me mo don't know in chain. Me bo don't know na pampum. If I register a business and I appoint Benjamin because of your knowledge and your chutzpah to run the business, the profits of the business accrue to me. If my partner registers a business, same way the profits of the business accrue to us. So when I asked that, and then he asked that question, I said, I'm not asking because it's the president's daughter. I want them to prosper. They deserve to prosper. However, when the Auditor General, not Domelevo, the favorite of the president, a retired person brought back to serve as Auditor General, because to be fair, the whole of Ghana, auditors are so incompetent that none of those who has reached pension age is qualified to serve as Auditor General. by this appointment of the president, because that's the subliminal meaning. When that Auditor General has stated with clarity that this company is getting paid to do nada. They don't have the personnel, they don't have the expertise. Way back in 2021. So please, don't give them any work. Maybe the Auditor General made that statement at the time when he didn't know the owners of the company. But eventually, do you know what happened? All the other people who could actually service the ambulance lost their contract or ability to work with those ambulances, and everything was given to this one company. What nation are we running? So, look, I really want to ask this simple question, because some of the things my dad says, because he, I want to ask, are you coaching your children in thievery and plunder of state resources? Or are you investing in your children with earnings from your own honest labor? Are you personally stealing national resources for your children to ensure that the many other children all over Ghana, whose parents toil to produce for Ghana, stay in poverty, squalor, and misery, so that they will have no choice but to look up to you and beg you for droppings off your table? And look up to your children and beg them for their daily bread. And look up to your accomplices and go to them begging to sell their labor. What is all this selfishness, greed, and state plunder? These are questions we ask of the soon-to-be ex-president Akuffo Addo and all his ministers and all his appointees. We ask this of our rich but battered, plundered, demotivated, impoverished, shackled with borrowing, and silenced country Ghana. The wise are not courageous. The truthful are fearful that their businesses will fail. Where are the wise, truthful, and courageous of this land? Because if you can say it against CPP, if you can say it against NDC, I don't see why you can't say it when it is worse another Nana Akuffo Addo's MPP. Ghana. What's wrong with you? Look at Kenya. And then look at what the president in Nigeria is now saying. All of a sudden he has realized that, we have too many state appointees. We need to reduce them. What are we doing with some 120 ministers, really? And what are we doing with their deputy ministers?
Are you not a member of the MPP?
Me?
Yeah.
I refuse to be a member of any party. I told you this some time ago off air, and I'll remind you. Frank,
but you have many friends in the MPP.
I have friends and brothers in MPP. I have friends and brothers in NDC. My uncle PV Obeng worked with PNDC and worked with NDC.
Right.
My uncle Nana Mwakutufo works with the MPP and has written Ghana's budget for over 15 years. Knowledgeable family, humble family. We try and work honestly to earn our income.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.